Pitch It was my second book. It is a book that belongs to the Business Management Journal. It is a very unique kind of a book in the sense it is not like a normal business management book which is full of management jargons and very heavy reading. It's a very, very light read. As you know, in India, cricket is a religion, and it is something that is played right from a kid which is 2 years old and watched by an 80-year-old person. And we always say that cricket is a religion and the cricketers are the gods, right? So I thought that it would be good to write a book where I take analogies for cricket and link it to the corporate world. And that is the best way we could teach management to an Indian, right? So Pitch It is a book that has 60 cricketing anecdotes. It also has 60 corporate case studies, and it draws on analogies between the two. Sure. So essentially this book has got 10 chapters. The first chapter is leadership, then we have a chapter on team building, another chapter on teamwork, then on execution, then on innovation and change, then challenges of success, traits for success, attitude. These kind, there are about 10 chapters. Every chapter on an average has about 6 case studies. So totally we get 10 into 6, 60 case studies. So the way it is structured is every chapter starts with a couple of pages of a cricketing anecdote. And then I describe a couple of pages of a corporate anecdote. And then finally in the last page I summarize the two. I take the learnings from the cricketing anecdote, I take the learnings from the corporate anecdote, and then I knit the two and tell what exactly is the learning from this. So that is the way the entire book is structured. So the other good thing is, because every anecdote is only about 4 or 5 pages, it's very light reading. You can pick up any anecdote and then stop at any time and then again restart. And also you need not read from the first page to the 300th page. You can read the last anecdote, come back somewhere in the middle, pick up the first one. You can read on your favorite cricketers, you can read on your favorite corporates. I think there is, initially when I was doing the research, I was, because I wasn't very sure of I will be able to get so many analogies and so many comparisons. But trust me, there's a lot of similarities. In fact, cricket is a metaphor for life. If you take qualities of leadership, if you take qualities of team building, if you take teamwork, if you see what it takes to be successful, there are a lot of similarities. And in the Indian context, where we have, if you take the Indian culture, where we have a habit of sometimes overreacting to both the good and the bad things. Again, the similarity is very similar. When something good happens, we sometimes give too much of credit to the cricketer, to the captain, and similar to the CEO of a company. Similarly, when things don't go well, the brickbats that a captain faces are very similar to what a corporate head honcho faces. So that way there's a lot of similarities. The glamour, the tough periods, the good times, the leadership, the teamwork, these are something that is so common between the two. I'm a huge fan of cricket, and I've been following it since the time I started playing. I used to play a lot in my school and college days. So I didn't have to do too much of research in terms of getting the right anecdotes. So leadership means I knew which are the anecdotes I could pick. Teamwork, I knew the anecdotes. Probably the only research that I had to do was to make sure that I'm putting the right data. So if I know of a particular win where India has defeated West Indies in 1974, then the research that I would have done is to get the data right, to make sure that I mention how many runs India scored, how many runs West Indies scored, that kind. But the incidents as per se, no, I didn't have to do any research. The research was only to get the right statistics and data. So that's a very interesting question. You will be surprised to know that it's very, very similar even in the corporate world. I have worked in many American and European multinational companies, and I realized that half the decisions, and when I say half, I really mean half the decisions are taken outside the boardrooms. They are taken in the corridors, they are taken in the in the cubicles. So something similar happens in cricket also. It is not that every team decision is taken on the pitch or in the dressing room. There are many offline discussions which happen. Now if you take Mahendra Singh Dhoni, he would definitely be trusting certain cricketers much more than the others, right? At least he's next in line, like Virat Kohli, for example. So he may just, while having a glass of water, he may just consult Virat, saying that what do you think we should do the next move? Who do you think should go in bat at number 4? These things happen in the boardroom too. It happens in the corporate world too. Not all decisions come to the table and happens in a very formal way. A lot of decisions happens through chats, emails, or an informal conversation. Yes, there are certain, especially I have given a few anecdotes related to Mike Bradley, where I have discussed specific cases where Mike Bradley had got to know certain likes and dislikes of Bob Willis during one of his chats, and then that really helped him to decide when and where to give Bob Willis the bowling, and that decision actually won the match for England. This was in one of the Ashes series against Australia. The corporate analogy I talked about is basically the kind of communication skills that was there in IBM when the CEO of IBM took over. Earlier IBM used to be a very conservative company, pretty hierarchical. But later on, when Louis Gerstner took over as the CEO, one of the things that he brought about was to break the communication barriers. And he used to himself personally write mails to each and every employee of IBM. This is a culture that he started a week after he took over as CEO of IBM. He started as Dear Colleagues and then he would go on. So it became very famous as Dear Colleagues mail. People would all be waiting for Louis Gerstner's mails, So he was one person who completely transformed IBM from a slow sleeping, huge, what they used to call as an elephant, to a company which became so fast and agile and swift. So that was, I think, the power of the communication. So that's how I said every chapter, the first 20-30% is a cricketing anecdote, the next 30-40% would be a corporate anecdote, and the remaining 20-30% is exactly what you described. It is where I say, okay, this is what went well or didn't go well in this cricketing anecdote, this is what went well or didn't go in the corporate anecdote, and what's the learnings. So either it could be some kind of a learning of a mistake, or it could be some best practices that can be shared. So it is definitely something where there is a learning out of it, out of each and every chapter. So that's a very good question. So maybe I should start with a little bit of background how this book happened. I used to work for ABB few years back as head of quality. And one of the tasks given to all of us who were in the management team was to write a management article for the quarterly newsletter. When my turn came, my teammates told that I should write an article which is very much palatable and can be read by all sections of the company. So this started as a 2-page e-newsletter which finally became a 350-page book. So the target audience which I had kept in mind was right from a 20 to 23-year-old fresh engineer to a middle management person who is probably in his 30s to someone in senior management, a CXO who is in his 40s or 50s. So this is a very wide spectrum of audience. Anyone who loves cricket, anyone who likes to read business case studies, this is the book. There is absolutely no age group. Right from a 20-year-old to an 80-year-old can read. Yes, definitely. Each one can choose a particular chapter which is very important to them. So let's take senior management may like to read more on the leadership aspects. If it's someone who is a very junior person or who has just become a manager, let's take a person who is a first-time manager, who is moving from a technical role to a manager role. He would love to read a chapter related to team building and teamwork. Now, if you are looking at someone who is from the marketing and sales area, for them this specific chapter would be on know your market. If you are a person who is working in research and development and R&D and that kind, technology basically, then there is a very interesting chapter called Innovation and Change. So, there is a little bit of something for everyone in this.